I mean, this is Valentine edition, bro.
Yeah.
So what we talking about?
Today, we're talking about having the right partner to support you while you're doing business.
Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome back to JTNS, Just Talk Nothing Serious. Your boy Tone in the building, and
What's up, man?
what's up, brother?
Henry Allen Harton.
The what?
Third.
Don't forget the
3.
You already know, man. Hey, look, we got some special guests
Special guest.
in the building. What's your name?
Chris Ann Robinson.
What's your name?
Well, should I say Talbot or Harden?
Why she trying it?
I was about to say that. I was going to say Chris Ann Talbot Robinson. Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we'll
Camille
do no.
Harden, so
Sound like I'm single. That would it sound.
not even.
All right.
Not even close.
So what we did was we decided to drag our wives and bring them on in front of the camera. I mean, this is Valentine edition, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to do something a little special,
Yeah.
with our special ladies.
Yeah.
So this is a special edition.
You already know.
JTNS.
Well, so what we talking about?
Man, today we're talking about having the right partner in business. Well, not in business, but
Business and leadership,
in
man.
leadership. Well, just having the right partner to support you while you're doing business.
Right.
So story time.
Story time. Let's go.
Story time. Camille and I met in college. And she was all in my face,
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to get with your boy.
Choosing, bro.
It's a fake narrative. It's a fake story.
Choosing, man.
Hey,
Choosing.
I got a similar story.
Won't even
Go ahead.
say
Yeah.
And long story short, right? We hit it off, and then we didn't. Because I'm gonna tell it, Muppet. So I never forget. It was like one of the first times that we kind of got into an argument. She would get mad because I would put my feet on her because it was cold.
That was not one of the first arguments.
What was
But
the first
okay,
argument?
you'll be reaching, but the very first argument
I didn't say it was
was.
the first argument. It was one of the first.
Oh, okay. Well, then
See?
go ahead.
See what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
That's what you saying do to me. Why, bro? Why?
So it's one of the first arguments.
Okay,
If I didn't
cold
say it
feet.
clearly, I apologize.
Okay.
See, I take ownership of that. You know what I'm saying? That's how you gotta do it in marriage. If you're not married yet, just take ownership. Of it.
Especially being a leader.
And
in the household.
accountability.
Yeah.
Especially in leadership, gotta take accountability. Extreme ownership, as they call it. Yeah. So I went, and that was one of the first arguments that we had. And but in short, Camille and I broke up.
Not because of no cold feet.
I'm about to say,
God dang.
was it how cold were you?
Dang, can I get them? God.
He used to do it on purpose.
I did do it on purpose. I did. Because I was so accustomed to doing it that way. But anyway, so long story short, we broke up. And the reason why we broke up, since clarify, was because we just, like me personally, at that time of my life, I had just started in business. I had, really just trying to figure out, who I wanted to be, where I wanted to be. And I didn't feel like Camille was on that same path as I was. So I decided that this wasn't a relationship for me.
He used that as cold feet as an excuse.
Nothing to do with the cold feet
At all.
but it was, what it did was, so we broke. I don't know how long was it? 3 months, 6 months.
I don't even know. All I know is that you called me again around Thanksgiving. I was like, why he calling me?
Around me.
Close
No,
to
I
Christmas,
did
bro.
not.
That's
I called you.
Yes, you did.
He said Thanksgiving.
I know it's you better make it known that he the one that called you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Why he calling me?
Chase.
But during that time frame, what I realized is that the things that frustrated me the most about her were things that I really had to get better at.
That's deep.
And
We gotta let that sit.
Let it marinate.
We gotta let that sit, bro. Like, Because people don't understand that.
Yeah,
people don't understand.
Yeah, people run from like, things that are uncomfortable.
Right.
Like my cold feet. You know, they just run from it. Right. But when I really sat down and thought about it, I was like, dang, she was the only woman that made me better as a person. Man, not just a business owner, as a person.
Right.
And even now today, you know, like, I think I'm a great father, right? Me personally, you know.
I think you're a great father too, bro.
Thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? Somebody gotta have a back. You know what I'm saying?
We gotta.
He's a great father.
But Camille continues to push me every single day to be better, right? And that is invaluable. So that leads me to the lyric of the day, right? My biggest problem is I don't believe the concept of in love. And that's by Toby Nwigwe. And I highly encourage, especially Valentine's Day, you gotta go listen to that song, I Choose You by Toby Nwigwe. But
I was gonna say something, but
go ahead.
I ain't gonna say it. I'm like, don't get her pregnant, just
I'm not kidding. I ain't mad at him though. I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, for me, I never believed the concept of that there's one person in this world that's for you. Like, I just, it was hard for me to take that, just, you know, because what happens if someone passes away, right? You know, you get remarried, like, and that person could be, so and I live by the motto, make a decision and then make it the right decision. So, you know, it's a lot of people out there right now that's, you know, a lot of, you know, leaders, you may have a spouse that you don't feel like supports you. You don't feel like, you know, really cares or sees your vision. And that's okay, because you ain't got no results yet, probably.
Right. Yeah.
That's okay. So, you know, the best thing that you can do is go out and get results, but understand that there's more to support than just somebody supporting your dreams. There's so many other avenues of your what do you call it, your life, right? Than just business.
That makes sense.
So having the right partner in business or having the right partner in life to help you with business is important as well.
That makes sense. I hate when they say that it's business, nothing personal. Because
it's all personal.
Because business is personal, you know. Right. Because you gotta understand, like, you're dealing with people in business and leadership. In leadership, you got to manage people. Right. Business, you have to build relationships. But if you don't have a significant other who is kind of brushing you, you know, and molding you in that sense, because me, I suck at relationships, bro. Like, but Chrisanne she's like the ish with relationships. Like,
let's be in it. When you sucking at relationships, girl, what people think that you suck at, you know, but you're talking about like general relationships, like overall, you know, with people, like keeping them, fostering them and things like that. Right. I'm more of the fosterer of the relationship.
So I can get the friend and she can keep the friend.
I mean, so, absolutely.
Like, because people not gonna they're not gonna approach Chrisanne at first. You know what I mean? They'll come to me. But then when they learn Chrisanne, they go like, oh man, like So given that story, like, sis, if y'all don't know, this is my sister-in-law. You know, it's my wife's sister. Some of y'all probably know, but we all family.
We all family.
But anyway, so given that story, like, what is your take on that? Like, I know that him being like in leadership and being like a business owner, I'm not saying it's not priority for you, but in your relationship, do you take that into consideration, or do you just mainly focus on him as a person to be better, or how does that work? I'm asking you this because I think some women out there, they try to intentionally change a man, right? But do you just give thought as to, or is it just, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I won't say that I try to change, because I mean, been there, done that. When you realize that you can't change anybody, you can really just change yourself and how you react or respond to things. So that's the most important. So It's just a matter of being conscious of how I may react to if he's telling me like, oh, we're doing a podcast at 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I'm like, okay, I mean, that's fine. But either way, it's because it's important to him and to y'all. And, you know, so you support that. So I don't try to change and then be like, I mean, well, probably did try to say, oh, why didn't y'all rethink, reschedule? But I mean, either way, you still just, you roll with it. You go with,
Makes sense.
You go with the flow because you know it's something better on the other side or it's coming. Yeah. So, no, I mean, I'm past the stage of trying to change.
But I think also what helps with that too is like, I try to be more intense because I know how much it affects her when just like last minute or like, or like, you know. So I try to communicate with her as soon as I find out about things
ahead of time.
For example, like I had to go out on business trips and stay overnight or whatever.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
Just 'cause I don't want to be at the house by myself too anyway.
So like I try to, as soon as I find out my dates, hey, I'm gonna be out this weekend, this week, whatever. So she can kind of get mentally ready whether she stays at the house or comes, you know, to Atlanta, whatever it is. She can kind of have time to prepare, and I just think that's part of it too. Is as an entrepreneur, you can't. And I'm terrible about it. I'm working on getting better at it. Put it that way.
That's a journey, bro. That's why we out here, right?
Because you so into trying to provide or trying to figure it out that you kind of like push people to the side in a sense, just trying to like or roll over them. Get into your goal.
I think, and that's an issue that us men have too. Like we figure that okay, we providing, so we have the leeway to kind of just push their emotions and feelings to the side. Like they humans, right? Women, like our wives are human beings. We have to take them into consideration. Yeah. So that's definitely makes for a great leader, bro.
And I think too, like I'm gonna be quiet after this, but I feel like I'm dominating the conversation. But like,
nah, man, let's go, bro. Just this special edition.
It's like this is such a good conversation because like you talk about we providers, right? Man, like that's like my dad was a provider, right? Like, he was a provider, so that's what I knew what a father should be. And that's why I said like Camille challenges me because like she's teaching me how to be more of a nurturer. As well as a provider, right? And being more present, right? And instead of just being locked in or dialed into what I got going on, like being more, just being better,
being more to do more, man.
Being more and just being more aware. Because especially with kids involved, when kids get involved, you have to be more aware. Like we were talking about yesterday, just being present and not just being there.
Just being there. Oh, that's a nugget, man. That's a nugget, man. So I met, what is this, our 13th Valentine together? What?
We're somewhere up there. Somewhere up there.
What we at now?
I would say
this is 14.
About 13 Valentine probably coming 13? Up.
Okay. So she also chose, but she chose.
Y'all know me.
She also chose. We met.
I was chosen. What continue?
We met via Twitter.
Social media.
Yeah.
So he dropped in the DM.
13 years?
No, she actually came in my DM. She actually came in.
Sorry. Let's go.
She came in my DM.
Shoot a shot. Shoot a shoot now.
She came in my DM because I follow her. Now she's a friend. So my cousin and her have mutual friends or best friend. So that was kind of like our little, okay, we had that in common. So I don't think she was too uncomfortable with me. Like, oh, that's such cousin. But I started following her on Twitter and then she hit me up in my DM and she said, thanks for the follow. In my mind, that's how she said it.
That's how accurate.
Yeah, in my mind.
I'm looking at receipts now. You got receipts now.
Yeah, in my mind, that's how. But anyway, I mean, we started from there, man. But in that period in my life, man, I was trying to figure out what type of business I wanted to do. Because I came from a background where I did other business. So I was trying to figure out, like, okay, obviously working a 9 to 5, that just, I can't say it ain't really never been me. Cause first I don't like to be told what to do. I struggle in that area, and man, I be having so many ideas. So she met me in a time in my life where I was just trying to figure it out, man. And one thing I noticed about Chrisanne is that she never tried to change me. You know, she just kind of let me figure it out throughout my journey, and that was something I wasn't used to, man. Because you know, other women, man, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to, you need to change. But she just kind of let me figure it out, man. And of course, throughout our years of dating, I lost money.
Lots of money. Lots and lots of money.
Several times. And as you can see, she's still here. So I want to, I just want to talk about that, babe. How do you feel about me losing money and just trying to figure it out? What is your thoughts on that?
How can I say this? I think eventually you learn, for me, I learned how to grow in this journey with him, with entrepreneurship. Because don't get me wrong, there were plenty of times, and sometimes I'm still like, oh my goodness, more, we gotta invest more of this, right here. But I understand, and I eventually realized that this is the calling for him.
Right.
And it's not my place to say, no, don't do this, don't do that, because if these things give him joy and he loves them and they're his passion and he wants to pursue them, then go do it. Because for me, I always think years down the road, you're not going to say, oh, it's because of you that I didn't do this, or because of that
resentment.
And have that resentment. I always want you to say, well, my wife gave me the open door to pursue my dreams.
And he's a creative. And
yes, he's a creative. That's something that I had to definitely also understand. While he always tells me that I'm the A student who, like, if I get a B or a C, I would be aggravated or frustrated. And he is like more like C or D, whatever. With him, but it's school stuff. And in the kind of way it is, because I was always raised to, you go to school, you get educated, you get a job, and you go on that path. That's how we were raised. Education was key to getting you success and getting you all that stuff. I'm not saying it's not. I am for going to college, doing whatever it is that but
it's not for everybody.
But it's not for everybody. And I also but I also had to learn that might not have been his style, and that's okay. If you want to pursue business, as long as it makes sense, as long as nothing that's going to put us in danger or anything like that is not, go for it. Try it. See what is for you. One thing about my husband, I could say I tell him he's overly ambitious. I don't know if there's such a word, but he's very ambitious.
We just did a JT and S about that.
But that's a great thing. I'd rather have an overly ambitious partner who tries things than somebody that don't try anything. Like, go for it, try it, see if it's for you. And he always has great ideas, and the thing is that he is going to do them. He ain't gonna just talk about them. Like me, I have a lot of ideas. Sometimes I'm all over the place. I can be spontaneous, but then I'm like, ooh, this may take a little bit of funding or whatever. Is this really in my budget? I'm looking at my life. How can we do whatever? I'm like, so do this for you. I'm always focusing on my career. What's the next? Let me move from this job to the next job. I try to say that. More like,
if you're listening, right? Go ahead.
Like, business has always been his thing. Ever since I've met him, he has always been ambitious. Like, writing it down. What's the next plan? Working on it. His goals. Like, goals are so important to him. He sets goals and he goes after them. This man has so many journal book, like he writes so much. I'm like, you should be an author. How much you write?
Write a book.
Yeah, hey, that's coming.
But, that's his destiny. That's his thing, and I have no issues supporting it. Mind you, along the way, I have said a few choice things that probably were not nice. I'm not very authentic and very real about that.
But the thing is too, though, like, and I know she's saying I'm ambitious and all that, but throughout the years, I had to figure out or find out that sometimes I wasn't working in ambition. I was working in anxiety. or anxiousness. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I just had to try to make something shake real quick, or try to get this money real quick. I always try to do something real quick.
Never talking about tomorrow.
Yeah, trying to take the street mentality of real quick and bring it into the relationship. And I had this mindset of, well, baby, it's gonna benefit us, and again, bypass how she felt.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And now becoming like a better person, being a husband, being a leader, I have to take into consideration how she feel, how is this gonna affect her mental health, my kid, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I gotta move with, some type of intentionality.
So a question for you, Chrisanne. Because you have a very dominant personality.
I have a dominant personality.
She said,
Right.
Shocker.
Chrisanne's gonna say what's on her mind. She don't care how you gonna feel about it. But you've exhibited a ton of patience with Anthony in your relationship, right? Like, I guess why in this area of your life that you're so patient versus being like boom, 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 boom,
That's a good question. Why in this area of my life?
Or is it
so
just
patient?
Anthony?
After a while, you grow. You realize how much time you've put into certain things, and what did they give you? In terms of like being frustrated, being unsure, being upset. It really didn't work. So my thing is now I kind of I talk to God more than I'm frustrated, honestly speaking. Sometimes, even this morning, I was sitting down thinking, okay, Lord, help me to come to you first before I decide on my reaction to certain things.
Right.
You see, so even with my husband in whatever decision he's making, I've learned to listen to what he's saying. I may not always understand or agree with it, but then go to God for him to to get that calmness. You see what I'm saying? Or that answer. And honestly speaking, the spirit, I believe in God. I don't know what everybody else believes in.
We Jesus over here, bro.
Jesus is who I believe in, and I'm not knocking what anybody else believes in. But I talk to him seriously. In my quiet moments, I will hear the spirit talk to me about certain things,
Right.
It really does. And I had to understand that these are the decisions that, God has for his life. Right. I can't hop in the path of his destiny, what God has for him. Yes, we are one, but Anthony is still Anthony and Chrisanne is still Chrisanne. Right. I have things that I have to pursue. He has things that he has to pursue. But eventually, we have goals together as well.
See,
so
you said something key, which brings me, I got to do the scripture today real quick.
Segue.
You already know. Do not be, man, we know this, man. Come on. We talk about it. Y'all might quote it out of context. But it says, do not be unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with lawlessness. So the thing is too, man, like people just think that being unequally yoked means being with someone who's not a Christian. You know what I mean? Right. You can be a Christian but have faith of less than a mustard seed, not have any faith at all. First thing my wife said, she said, go to God. You know what I mean? And see, that's our foundation here, like in the Robinson household. Because at the end of the day, if there's a decision that I want to make, I'll talk to her about it. And fellas, if you're not paying attention, your wife or your woman, she's like the eyes and ears. She got your back. Right. She may not give you the answer you're looking for, but always take that answer into consideration. Yeah. Because there may be a third option for you out there, that may can benefit. Your decision ain't always the right decision. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So take her thoughts and her being into consideration. And God may give you something else, that may be ultimately better than what you was going to decide. That may be a third decision. But being unequally yoked is just not it. Like some women, they just think, I can't speak for women.
Yes.
Set us up.
I understand. It's not easy. It is not an easy journey to be on with a person that is in business.
Right.
Entrepreneurship is not for the weak or the faint at heart. And that is in terms of the person that's in it, that's actually doing it, and also their spouse if they're married or in a relationship.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's a lot of faith walk. It's a lot of, okay, I see what you're doing, you know, or sometimes I may not always see what you're doing, but I trust that you've gotten that intuition, that inkling, and you know what you're doing, or you know what's best for us sometimes, because sometimes he knows what's best for us, and sometimes I know what's best for us. And that comes back to the idea of submission also, because submission is...
Don't go there. We're going to get canceled.
No. But hold on. Submission goes both ways.
Right.
Because the man is supposed to submit to the woman, the woman is supposed to submit to the man also. But the husband is supposed to submit to his wife, and the wife is supposed to submit to her husband.
I mean, we're
not gonna go in there. We're not talking about that.
No, we can. I really want to go there.
No.
I was about to go there because see, a lot of people don't want to hear the word submit. Now you have to understand. She said something key here. She said, "I trust and believe that my husband have our interest at heart." See, being the head of the household, right, is not about being in control. That people think I'm the head of you and I'm in control of you. A woman have the ultimate decision if she want to give over or hand over her authority to you.
Right.
And in order to do that, she got to trust you.
Absolutely.
And trust that you have her best interest at heart. You know what I mean? So a lot of us think that, you know, we just finna take over and control. Nah, bro.
No, I want to say this real fast and get this thought. And sometimes it's a fight in you, because y'all know, like you guys say, I have a dominant personality, and my husband is not. No, he's not, definitely not the weak. He's not at all. He is very alpha, go getter, get it. And I feel sometimes that's an extent. I don't want to say I'm an alpha female, because I don't want to. You know, I feel like it's so cliche. Everybody thinks they're alpha female or alpha male. You know, but I am very strong-willed in a lot of ways, and sometimes I have to kind of like bring it down a little bit and hear and not listen with the intent to understand what he's saying, and not with the intent to respond to what he's saying. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it's, you know.
It makes sense, but you're doing your thing.
Yeah. I think with that word submission, I think people probably women dwell on the word submission a little bit too much. Like they overthink it too much.
Yeah.
Because I don't even really think about submission in a marriage. Because I mean, basically, you're just kind of doing. You know what I mean? You're just letting it be and letting it flow. Like I don't necessarily think about submitting to him or him submitting to me. It's just like kind of like, okay, well, I feel like submission is kind of like if I ask you maybe I'm wrong, but if I ask you to do something, like you will kind of just do it because we're married, like I want to make you happy, you want to make me happy type of thing. Like, would that kind of correlate to submission in a way?
I think that's like, no.
I mean, don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but
that's how a lot of people take it, though.
Yeah, they really.
If I ask you to do something, you better do it. You better submit.
Right, it's not like that. Right.
It's like, okay, what's our goal? I think that's the key that you got, and it all goes back down to desire and your why and that whole thing. But like, what's your goal? Like, what task are we trying to accomplish? Right. For example, like we're trying to raise great kids. Right. What does that look like? Right. For that each of us need to do in order to make sure our kids are taken care of. Right. Versus being like, oh, this is how I see it need to go, and this is how it's gonna go. No,
even though sometimes there's those moments. I mean, like, it's teamwork.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. I want to say that everything is not gonna always be peaches and cream when you're in the flow of being a spouse and a supportive spouse to your entrepreneurial partner. There are gonna be times whereby you're just gonna be like, okay. You're gonna battle sometimes. You're like, is this really? You think this is the time for us to do that, or you think that's the time? But sometimes risks. You know, the risks. You think about the risks and the rewards. You know, you kind of weigh those things too. That's where that's where I'm at now. At this point in my life, it's like, okay, if it doesn't work out, you get a lesson from it. You know, you learn from it. That's eventually how I had to kind of look at things. Like, and not dwell on all these things from the past. You know, I know that things are gonna happen. We have good times. You're gonna have moments where it's gonna be really up, down. There's moments where you're down, up. You know, so it's kind of like it's always like that game of.
It's that journey.
As long as the risk ain't having us losing a whole ton of money. I don't want to be in no big.
As long as the risk don't have you losing your home. That's
right.
At that point, you're a crackhead.
Super critical, right? Super key. You got to begin with the end in mind. You got to know what the bad thing is. Like, if the worst case scenario, this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
And we just gonna, we can talk about this all day.
Hey man, we can.
JT in this.
Hey, just talk nothing serious. We got a podcast coming, man.
Got a podcast coming.
Yeah, man. So 4/4/23. Y'all be on the lookout, man. Podcast coming. We ready to rock and roll.
And we got a doc.
Oh, documentary. How did I forget that?
I don't know.
Hey, y'all gonna see these two young ladies, special young ladies in our lives. They gonna give their story on how we met, and y'all get more of that in the documentary, man. But y'all go ahead and like, share, subscribe, hit the bell. Can y'all tell them hit the bell?
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell, man. Hit the bell. Let's get this information out of here, man. JT and that we good?
Good.
All right. Peace.